Sometimes the most powerful stories, they're not told with words at all. They're told with light. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to deconstruct this incredible cinematic blueprint. It's basically a visual poem about the cycle of life, goodbyes and new hellos. So let's just dive right in and break it down.
And this right here, this is the heart of it all. It's the core message, the promise that really drives every single frame of this piece. We're about to see just how a filmmaker can take two simple but super powerful concepts, darkness and light, and use them to build an entire story, one careful shot at a time.
So what we're looking at here, it's not a finished movie. It's actually something way more fundamental. Think of it like the architectural plan for a building. This is a shot list, and it's using the very specific language of cinema, camera angles, lighting, focus, to build a really emotional experience from the ground up.
Yeah, a great way to think about it is like a poem. Every visual choice the director makes, that's a word. Every shot, that's a line. And altogether, they create these stanzas that tell a story without saying anything out loud. Our job today is to kind of translate this visual language, to figure out the story it's really telling us.
Okay, so Act 1. And what's interesting is that the story actually begins at the end. This first part is all about setting up this feeling of finality. But, and this is key, it's one that's full of dignity and peace. It's not sad. It really is a golden farewell.
Just look at how all these different pieces work together. You've got this ultra-wide shot that just gives you this incredible sense of scale and importance. Then the silhouettes against that fiery orange sunset, they feel totally iconic, almost mythic, right? And that slow cinematic dolly-in, it's like the camera is gently, respectfully pulling us into this final sacred moment.
And that's why this doesn't feel like a tragic end at all. These visuals are specifically designed to make you feel a sense of nostalgia, that feeling of a chapter closing, but closing gracefully. It's like the whole world is just holding its breath, pausing for a moment of quiet respect for everything that's come before.
Okay, now this is a perfect example of using camera focus to tell a story. By using a shallow depth of field, the filmmaker makes a really powerful choice. The background just dissolves. It melts away. Why? Because all that matters right now is what's held in these eyes. We're talking decades of memories, quiet strength, history. The shot is basically screaming at us, hey, look closely, this is the human heart of the story.
All right, on to Act 2. This is the transition. The warm golden light of the past starts to fade, and we find ourselves in this quiet, kind of uncertain space, somewhere between the end of one thing and the beginning of another.
And here it is. This is the pivot point. Just notice that shift in the color palette. That warm sunlight is totally gone. Now it's all these cool deep blues and violets of dusk. Everything gets still. But then, out of that silence, a new light appears. And it's not the big, powerful sun. It's this delicate, clean white crescent moon. This is it, the very first whisper of hope.
The way the camera moves here is absolutely crucial. It cranes up, right, and it centers the moon perfectly above the elders. By doing that, the filmmaker turns it into more than just, the moon. It becomes a symbol. It's this new focal point that's promising us that this silence, this darkness, it's not going to last forever.
And of course, that promise gets fulfilled in our third and final act. That symbolic hope that we saw in the moon, it's about to become real. It becomes tangible as a new generation, and a new day literally arrives on screen. This is the rebirth.
Oh, I just love this visual. It is so direct and so powerful. The children literally walk out of the shadows and step into the light of the moon. Their movement becomes the engine of the story now. They are physically carrying us from that quiet hope we just saw into a future that's actually happening. And just look at the words used to describe them. Pure, innocent, curious, unbroken. I mean, these aren't just adjectives, right? They're thematic statements. They represent a totally clean slate, a world of potential that hasn't been worn down by time yet. And get this, their eyes, catching the moonlight, are described as tiny stars, a perfect direct connection to that new light up in the sky.
So this timeline really shows how light itself almost becomes the main character of this whole story. It kicks off with that delicate moonlight, which is all about potential. Then it shifts to the golden pink of dawn. That's the transition happening right before our eyes. And it all culminates with the full, blazing power of the sun literally crowning the children, basically shouting that the new era is here.
And all of this brings us to the conclusion, where all of these different visual threats, the elders, the children, the setting sun, the rising sun, they all get woven together into one final, really powerful statement.
I mean, this final shot just perfectly sums up the entire theme. You have the future, right, represented by the children walking forward into this brand new light. But the past isn't just tossed aside or forgotten. The elders are still there, standing behind them like a quiet guard of honor. They're giving their blessing. It's just this beautiful, respectful passing of the torch.
So we end up right back where we started, with this one statement. But now, right, after seeing that whole visual journey unfold, these words just hit differently. They carry so much more weight because we've actually seen the darkness fall and we've witnessed firsthand that light beginning all over again.
And that just leaves us with one final thought. This entire powerful story was told just by carefully playing with light. So maybe the next time you're watching a movie, or any story really, just look a little closer. Ask yourself, how is the light shaping the story I'm seeing?